Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's the last couple of weeks been like for you preparing for this?
Just mentally locking in, staying up with workouts, training, conditioning, just making sure that I'm ready for the moment, and just be prepared as possible for camp.
What kind of a workout do you do?
As far as workout, just anything basic, weightlifting as far as upper body, lower body, and then I try to add in some metabolic work for conditioning, and then always, working on hands and field work as well. Kind of switching it up, making sure that I'm learning more of a playbook style while I'm out there instead of just running random routes and whatnot.
Hey Jacob, I don't think we've spoken to you since you were drafted. That was a spring that you had, man, working in first team reps and being available like that. What was that like for you, and what did you learn, and how did you process all of it when it's so much at once?
Yeah, it was definitely new, but it was something that I was ready for, and I definitely didn't take any of those reps for granted. It was a blessing to be out there in general, and then to get the opportunity. We got some guys down to fill in and really learn at that pace. To be in there, with the ones they run it a little bit faster. So to be able to hear those signal calls and be out there, to full pace like that, it was good.
What's your process in, seeing something on film or in the playbook and then actually acting it out, living it out? How do you go from one to the other?
Just visualizing. When I see it on the film, and then try to just visualize. Okay, put myself in those shoes. How would I do it on the field? And then taking it to the field. Like a warm up or pre-snap. Before we actually get to live reps, just kind of going through the movements and whatnot. So, muscle memory comes into play as well.
When Sean McVay was asked about standout rookies over the offseason, your name was the first that came up, and you kind of went in depth about everything you did. When you hear something like that from your head coach that early on in the process, is that a pretty good confidence boost?
Yeah, it's definitely encouraging and a confidence boost when you hear that from the head man. But I also don't take I take it with a grain of salt as well, because at the end of the day there's still so much more that I have to do, and I want to earn a spot on this team and to earn respect to my teammates and coaches as well. So it's definitely encouraging, but at the same time I got the same goal.
And what kind of leap do you think it's going to be going from playing 7-on-7, no pads, to full pads at training camp? What kind of acclimation do you expect there?
Just speed of play. Usually, we're still playing at a pretty fast pace in 7-on-7. Guys maybe sometimes play a little bit more free with no pads on, but then once we get the pads on, you notice that people start to move around a little bit quicker. So that'll be it. But other than that, nothing too big.
Didn't sound like they wanted you to gain a ton of weight. Is that still true, or are you still? What have those conversations been?
Yeah, it's still we're still kind of just seeing what's the best avenue for me right now. Right now we're just trying to be as athletic as possible, and not take away from any of the attributes that I'm able to bring to the team.
And how do you describe what you bring? I mean, what should stand out to us as we watch you?
I say the best way to describe it is versatility. I'm a guy that in the offense you can line up in the slot, outside, in tight end. I'm a guy who plays special teams, who's had experience playing all four phases. So, I enjoy that, and I embrace that role of versatility, because I don't like to be in a guy, that's just pigeonholed into one spot. The more I can do, the better.
Did you come into the spring knowing what they were going to want you to do, or what all they were going to want you to do?
Yeah, I had an idea. Just talking with the coaches and whatnot. But then once I actually got there for the spring, we kind of had an idea, more clear vision of what my role was kind of going to be, and we're still figuring that out as we go along. But I'm just taking every day step by step and just embracing the roles and everything they throw at me.
What surprised you the most about learning the tight end position compared to playing wide receiver?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess I definitely reading the lines, because at receiver you're only reading coverages, safeties, how the corners or DBs are playing you. But then at tight end it brings in a whole different aspect of now you got to read the front. Is it a 5 technique, 6 technique? Different D line fronts. You're reading how the linebackers are playing. This 3-man, 4-man. Are they zoning? Are they manning? So there's a lot more that comes into play. But like I said, it's great because it's just more knowledge to the game and more that I can expand my mind.
With OTAs, what are some of the things that you personally want to work on or want to achieve and learn and be a better tight end for this team this coming season?
I definitely want to work more. I'm comfortable being down in 3-point stance, reading the lines and fronts quicker, and then just really just being more comfortable in that role with my hand in the dirt. other than that, I feel like, you know, the playbook's coming pretty quickly. I just still need to be more sharp on that, and then just continuing what I'm doing, and stay on that path, and I feel like I'll be in a good spot.
What's Wes Phillips like?
Wes is a great guy. He's a very passionate coach. I got that from the get-go, and then he's also very detailed. I was surprised, you know, not surprised, but I was actually very grateful of how detailed he is. You know, we're going over film and stuff like that. You know, you feel like you do something right, it's perfect, and then you find, oh, there's something a little bit that we can tweak. So that's why I really enjoy, because you know, you just keep improving and improving. So he's a very detailed coach.
Did you go to Tampa for the Super Bowl at all?
I did not. I was actually in Denver training for my pro day during the Super Bowl. But, you know, happy for my hometown team, you know, to get a win. But now I'm a Ram, so the roles have changed.
Obviously, they're going to have you listed as a tight end on the roster
Mhm.
while also moving you all over the place.
Yeah.
In the future, you know, 10 years from now, do you hope that there's just sort of a positionless aspect to these offenses in terms of you don't necessarily have to be one thing or the other?
No, I'm all right with, you know, being a versatile guy that's not really, you know, a receiver or just a tight end, you know, because I enjoy moving around in the offense. It's fun, and I think it really gives defenses a headache when you got a guy who can line up anywhere at any time in a play. So I
Was
enjoy
there
it.
Need a new name for it.
Was there a player that you watched that you thought, well, that's kind of how I want to model my game?
You know, growing up, I watched a lot of Mike Evans. I've said that a lot just because of his body type and his style of play. But then more that I've heard, you know, the possibility of tight end, I started watching guys like Darren Waller and Jimmy Graham, and just guys who are, you know, big receiving tight ends who also, you know, have a big presence in the blocking game as well.
Is that the really difficult thing? I mean, the blocking side of it, people don't think about it maybe as much.
Not necessarily. It's more of a technique standpoint. So, you know, the better I get at the techniques and whatnot from blocking from a tight end rather than a receiver, the better I'll be able to get it, to grasp it, and put myself in better situations to win. So I think that's really what it comes down to, is just technique.
The blocking that the tight ends do in this offense is
Mhm.
pretty different than the blocking the receivers do. I mean, structurally the
Yes,
same, but,
yeah.
you know, schematically different. Are you learning both of those things as they're moving you around?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much blocking is blocking from the outside. You know, DBs like to move around and jump a lot, so you got to be just, you know, square base and make sure that you don't get beat and know where to lose and where your leverage is in the scheme. The same rules kind of apply to tight end, but you're working with bigger bodies and honestly, stronger athletes. I don't want to put a knock on DBs, but those guys in there are a lot stronger. So that's where, like I said before, technique. You got to have the right technique to win against, you know, guys who are going to be just as strong or maybe even a little bit stronger.
What's something you've learned from the tight ends that are returning to the Rams roster that you're joining that has helped you learn the position better?
Very close group. Right off the bat, I noticed that, you know, the tight ends here with the Rams are very close. They're all very smart. They know the playbook well, and they're all very, very humble and, you know, easy to talk to, easygoing guys. You know, right away, I didn't have to hesitate to ask questions or for them to even reach out to me like, hey, do you need help with anything? It didn't necessarily have to be anything on the field, off the field stuff as well, just adjusting to over here in California. So I think that's the first thing, is just how welcoming the tight end group is.
What's the hardest thing to adjust to off the field?
I don't know. I guess mainly just settling in, you know, learning the area, the surrounding area, and then really just figuring out like what's good to eat. Yeah.
What part of your game really comes naturally? You don't have to think about it too much. It just.
I would say, real speed and athleticism comes naturally to me, but as well as the mental part. Although I haven't been playing that as long as a lot of these guys here, I feel like that's what's helped me progress well in this game, is that I'm able to pick up concepts and different things quickly. So I feel like I put a lot of emphasis on my mental game.
Joe DiCamillo seems like he's got a ton of energy.
Oh yeah.
What's
Yeah.
it like when you hear him, you know, from the other side of the field?
Oh yeah, you'll be able to hear Coach Joe D from anywhere on the field, and you need that energy. You know, come from special teams and whatnot. It just juices the guys up. You know, first play of the game is going to be special teams, and then first play of the next half is going to be special teams. So that's good energy to bring, and hoping that the players and everyone else can just bring it to the field every time.
Who did you spend the most time with during OTAs? Get to know.
My guys, Jake Funk and Ben Sco, just the other rookies, we were all staying in the same hotel. So we were all in the same, scenario, learning new playbooks, so studying the playbook together, spending time together, going out to eat. And Duck Hodges as well, since he's coming from the Steelers. He's not a rookie, but still same boat, learning a new system. So I grew really close with those guys, and then I actually spent some time with Higbee and Johnny Munn and some of the other tight ends as well, Kendall and Bryson. Just like I said, that group is close, so just kind of being welcome to them, and the more I get to know those guys, spend more time with those guys, just gonna get closer.
Thank you.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you guys.
Jacob.
Thank you.